So
It's recording time. Yeah, so I'm about to tell the story. Finally, I can have a video I can reference people. So if you want to hear the immigration story, definitely check that out. Okay. Yo, Jesse here in London, England. It's been a long time coming. The first time I attempted to come into London, something very traumatic happened to me, an experience that I will remember for the rest of my life. When people meet me who really get to know me, hear the story of me getting locked up in a London immigration cell. Here it is. So about 2 years ago, I was living in Stockholm for a bit with a friend. Living situations got kind of fucked up, so I had to leave. And that put me in a bad place because I have no place to stay. And at least he gave me a notice, like, hey, by Monday you gotta take off. I'm like, okay. So that weekend on like a Friday, I made a very spontaneous choice, which was buying a one-way ticket over to London, England. And the reason why I bought this ticket was I was seeing a girl in Poland that I was seeing at the time. And I made like a little promise that I would go visit her. So when I bought this ticket, I wanted to surprise her. And I did a lot of behind the scenes things, hit up her roommate, try to find the details and all that. And this is very spontaneous decision I did. Anyway, so fast forward to the Monday, I'm about to take off. At the last minute I get like a message saying, hey, you can't stay with us. The roommate's telling me this, oh, you can't stay with us because for like other external reasons. So I'm on the flight, all I'm thinking about is like, okay, so hopefully I can surprise her before she goes off to work and all that. And when I get to England, this is around 11 p.m. or so. All I'm thinking about is just, I'll get through, surprise her before work. Then this happens. I go up to the immigration border, and when you go into different countries, they're gonna ask you multiple questions. So in England specifically, it's very strict, but I didn't know that. So I flew in on a one-way ticket, and they're asking me these type of questions. Why are you here? How long are you here for? Do you have proof of income? What do you do? Where are you staying? And all these type of questions. So my answers were, I'm here to surprise someone I met in Poland. She has no idea I'm coming. No, I don't have proof of income. I just have my plastic card. I run an online business that allows me to travel around. Then they ask me when I'm leaving. I say, well, I'll probably be here about 5 weeks or so, and then I'll take off to Greece to go meet up with other guys that run online businesses. And by this time, this immigration officer is a lady just giving me this look like just, what? Then she asks me to take a seat in this like little seating area and takes my passport. I sit there about like 10, 15 minutes. A new guy comes up, asks me for the phone number of this girl so they can call her. I'm like, shit, man, you're gonna fucking ruin the surprise. But I just do it. He walks off. I wait about 5-10 minutes later. Different guy comes up, and then he asks me, sir, can you please come with me? And now I'm really worried at this point. I'm walking with him, and I ask him, am I in trouble? He looks at me, he stops, then he says, not exactly. Because the immigration officer wasn't satisfied with your interview, we're gonna have to detain you overnight. By this part, my heart just drops. We go, he picks up my luggage, takes me behind the scenes, punches in his access code, tells me that the place I'll be staying at is pretty comfy. By the time I'm there, I see like this mission control area with this like clear window. I look in, it's like fucking airport seats, a little TV and a little like park benches almost. He tells me go in, and then about 5 minutes later, a different lady pulls me out. And then I go up to this machine, and now they're finger scanning me, every single finger. And at this point, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I really cannot believe what's happening right now. So I go and I go to sleep. They told me that 7 a.m. the next shift opens. So I'll have my interview. So I'm like super optimistic guy. I'm like, okay, so cool. Shift opens at 7 a.m. I can ace the interview, take off before this girl goes off to work at like 5 p.m. Wake up at 7, nobody. Wake up at 8, nobody. 9, nobody. And 10, I wake up because I hear voices, and I have covers over my head because it's pretty chilly in this little immigration cell. And the reason why I woke up was I hear 3 guys talking about how they just got released from prison. And now I'm just thinking, I'm in such a fucked up position right now. I'm in the immigration cell with fucking like 3 ex-prisoners. And I peeked a little bit, and fucking one guy was massive. And yeah, it was pretty scary stuff. So I just continue like trying to sleep and let the time go by. And then I'm like, at this point it's like 12:30. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I thought I'm supposed to get my interview at 7 a.m. So I think it's about 1:30 now. They finally pull me out the room. They're questioning me and really asking some personal questions. And then they ask me if I know what the Schengen agreement is. They tell me that I broke the Schengen agreement. And I told them like I could have sworn that it was 90 days per country, but no, it's actually 90 days for the entire selected countries in the Schengen area. And now I'm like, well, holy fuck. They tell me that they called a number and this girl didn't verify the story. And of course now I'm feeling even more shit. I don't know what's going on. Am I gonna be able to go surprise her? Or then I get sent back. I'm like losing my mind at this point. They're playing like terrible soap opera, British soap opera and TV shows and stuff like that. And then they give me like shitty, like almost dog food type of microwavable food. So now after that, I'm like doing push-ups, like doing the whole prison life, doing sit-ups and all that type of shit. Like, I'm really losing my mind at this point. I've been in this cell for over 12 hours. And then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna fucking nap it out, let the time go by. I fall asleep very briefly, then I get woken up about 2:30. And then this lady says, well, do you wanna speak here or do you wanna speak in private? And I just told her, here's fine. And I'm really super optimistic, and I was just gonna assume like, yeah, no, definitely, she's gonna let me through. But she drops the bomb and tells me that because the interview was very out there, I had no proof of like all this stuff. Like they gave me a list at the end saying there's no proof of income, no proof of the story, they couldn't verify the story, no ongoing flight, and all this type of stuff. They tell me that they're gonna deny me from entering the UK. And I'm devastated at this point. Like, fuck, I was really looking forward to surprising this one girl. I always see in the movies, and I always wanted to do something like that. So it's kind of like the whole concept of live your life like a movie. At this point, they tell me they're gonna reject me. I'm worried that I'm gonna be thrown in prison, and I ask her like, 'cause at this point, actually, I'd never been so stressed in my life. Like, I think back to this feeling, I really never felt this type of emotion before until this experience. She tells me that no, it's not that serious, but because you broke the Schengen agreement and it's outside our jurisdiction, we're gonna send you back to Sweden and they're gonna deal with you. And now I have no idea what's gonna happen to me at this point. It's really shit. So about an hour later, they gather all my stuff. They have like 2 big security guys who are escorting me through the airport, and I'll never forget this moment. So I don't look like a thug or anything. I'm not like fucking jacked or fucking tattoos everywhere. And we're walking through. One of the security guys says, "Excuse me, ma'am," and she has a daughter. So the mom moves away, and the daughter's like right there still. She looks at me. The mom looks at me in the eye, looks down at her daughter, and pulls her away from me. And at this point, my fucking like, fuck, this is such an embarrassing moment. And it gets worse from here. We walk up to the gate, and everyone's waiting. All of a sudden, imagine you're sitting down, then you see 2 security guys, and you see me. Now everyone's just staring at me like, what the hell is going on? I get like first priority boarding. It's just ridiculous thing. Then they give me my passport back. They tell me that there'll be someone who's gonna pick me up at the end of the flight. I'm like, okay. Hop on the flight. I call my friend on one of the airlines that has Wi-Fi, which is pretty cool. Told my friend the entire situation. He cannot believe it. Him and his girlfriend are just like in awe. Cannot believe this type of thing can happen. So when I land in Stockholm, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for someone to pick me up. I let everyone go. Then there's no one there to pick me up. So I walk up to the flight hostess and asked her, is someone supposed to pick me up and stuff? And she says, I guess not. Just gives me my passport. And I'm like, oh shit. And there's a moment right here I'm thinking, should I do the right thing or the wrong thing? Wrong thing would be just taking off and be dishonest. But I'm like, no, do the right thing. So go up to I grab my passport, go up to the immigration officer and tell him the whole situation in very vague detail, to say the least. Then he says, okay. I tell him like, yeah, just once you let me go, I'm gonna buy a ticket right back to the US. And he says, oh, all right. Tells me to sit down. I'm like, fuck again. And at this point, I'm like, a state of paranoia. What the fuck's gonna happen to me? Very like, nothing secure. I don't know like what's gonna happen to me. Then he tells me to follow him. I'm like, shit, is something really bad is gonna happen? Am I gonna go straight to prison or something? But he takes me behind the scenes into like this car. We drive off, go into like this room, tells me to sit down, and I'm just thinking, hoping for the best. 5 minutes later, he comes right back in and just hands me my passport. You're good to go. And at this moment right here, I'm like in such bliss, and I was really happy that I wasn't gonna be thrown in prison or anything. So he lets me go through. The immigration officer just let me through. Didn't need to get a stamp or anything or scan. I sit down and just can't believe this whole situation happened. I booked my flight. I end up calling this one girl. She was super happy to see me. Through Skype, she's all like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "What?" "I'm in Stockholm." She's like, "Wait, you're in London? Like, how do you know that?" "Oh, well, my flatmate, my roommate told me because you're supposed to surprise me before work. She came to work asking if you received a package." And she's like, "No." She's like, "Wait, you didn't receive a package or anything today?" And she says, "No, not at all." Then she kind of freaks out and tells the secret, which is fine. And keep in mind, on my behalf, I've been told by the immigration officer that they called the number and this girl didn't verify my story. So when I first heard that, I thought she wanted nothing to do with me and all that type of stuff. And of course, that kind of sucks. Finally meeting a girl that you have a good connection with, and she wants nothing to do with you. So I felt like shit the entire time. Then ends up, I ask her, "So you have no idea what happened?" "No." So I just tell her what I just told you right now, and she was in shock, cried a little bit, said that she hates the immigration officers and all that type of shit. She would have picked me up and all that. But yeah, and then end up getting invited out to Rome and Italy and all that type of things. But basically, that is the infamous, probably one of the best travel stories I have. That's really out there, that I literally tell everybody that meets me. If they ask or they want to hear a good story, I tell that. Just also, I would like to keep a little note at the end, the lessons from it. Because of an experience like that, it's very traumatic for me. I'm dead scared. I'm like always really nervous at the borders wherever I go. And there was an event that was being hosted here on a Sunday, which is today, and I needed to go. So I'm like, no, I cannot not go to this. So I'm gonna prepare all the documents. I'm gonna learn from the fucked up thing that happened to me 2 years ago. And I'm like so committed to come here to London. And it was a huge fear to me to come back in here. I just really bit the bullet. I just had faith that everything will work out just fine, and just really cross my fingers and let it work out for the best. And I said specifically that if I ever get into London, I would tell the story. So now that I'm here, I told the story, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.